everyone. I want to take a moment to teach you how you can tell if something is linear versus nonlinear by looking at a table. First of all, in our unit when we learned about linear functions, linear equations, linear graphs, and everything, hopefully you remember that all linear equations have a constant rate of change. And what I mean by that is the slope is the same, or the rate of change is the same no matter where you look on your graph, no matter which 2 points you pick. It's always going to be the same rate of change. So the situation is exactly the same when you're looking at a table. So we have two examples here. I'm going to start with the example on the left. I know that to find the rate of change with a table, the numerator is going to be the change in the y values. The denominator is going to be the change in the x values, or the rise over the run. So looking at the table on the left, I can see that between my first 2 points, which are 0.25 and 7.20, the vertical change is -5 and the horizontal change is +7. So that means between those 2 points, that graph or that function has a slope of -5/7. So if this is a linear function, then I can choose any points in this table and they will all have a rate of change of -5/7. So now I need to pick more points to see. So I'm going to go ahead and just pick the second point and the third point. So to go from 20 to 15, once again I'm subtracting 5. And then to go from 7 to 14, once again I'm adding 7. So between those 2 points, my slope is once again -5/7. So I think it's linear, but I want to confirm by looking at the last 2 points to make sure. To go from 15 to 10, I'm subtracting 5. And to go from 14 to 21, I'm adding 7. So this is an example of a linear function, because the rate of change is the same no matter which 2 points you choose. Now let's look at the second table. Oh, I guess I should say, yes, it is linear. Now looking at the second table, the work has already been done for us, but I'm just going to highlight it as I explain it here. So, there we go, highlighter. This one is a horizontal table, so you can see that the x points or the x coordinates are the top row and the y coordinates are the bottom row. But again, when you're writing slope, you have to put the change in the y coordinates, or the vertical change, in the numerator, and the change in the x coordinates in the denominator. So I'm going to start between the first 2 points. The first point's 1, 2. The second point's 3, 11. So to go from the y coordinate of the first point to the y coordinate of the second point, I had to add 9. And then to go from the x coordinate to the x coordinate, we added 2. So between those 2 points, the rate of change is 9/2. 9/2. Let me write that real quick with a pen. That's 9/2. All right, so then when you look at the next 2 points, to go from 11 to 33, we had to add 22. And to go from 3 to 5, you had to add 2. So that is not the same slope or rate of change. That's a slope of 22/2, or 11/1. 11/1 and 9/2 are not equivalent fractions. Those are not the same slope, and it's not a constant rate of change. If you keep going, you'll see that, again, between the next 2 points, it's 55/2 is the slope, and again, that's not the same. So this would be an example of a non-linear function. Non-linear. Whoops.